Hello there, and welcome to yet another episode of Regular Beer Reviews, where regular doesn't refer to the beers being reviewed, but to the reviewer, myself. I'm Jesse, and today I'm going to be reviewing a beer that I've never had before. This is one from Shiner, and it is their Oktoberfest. Now, I've had a lot of beers from Shiner. I've had quite a few. I've had the Bohemian Black Ale, or whatever it was called, and I've had their Blonde, and their Hefeweizen, and of course, I've had the Bach, and I've had the one they do that's brewed with cactus apple. I've had a lot of different beers from Shiner, but this is the first time I've ever tried their Oktoberfest. Now, supposedly it's supposed to be a traditional Marzen style ale, an Oktoberfest. So anyway, let's get into the numbers on this beer. Beer Advocate gives it a 76, which is okay, and that's with 797 ratings. The Bros give it an 82, which is good, and Rate Beer gives it a 28 overall with a 29 for the style. It has an ABV of 5.8%. The style, as I just said, is a Marzen, or as a lot of Americans pronounce it, a marzen, or an Oktoberfest. The availability, obviously, is fall. It's a fall seasonal. And if you didn't know, Shiner is the spoetzl brewery out of Shiner, Texas. And I'm not sure what the IBUs are on this beer. But anyway, it says on the bottle, nothing finer than a Shiner. I like that. But anyway, it says on the bottle here, it says, raise a stein to Oktoberfest. Here in Shiner, Texas, population 2,070, we're suckers for tradition, which is why this classic Oktoberfest brew is made with the highest quality 2-row barley, Munich and caramel malts, along with German-grown Hallertau, tradition, and Hersbrucker hops. It's our way of honoring our ancestors and the beer they love to celebrate with. So raise your stein to tradition and enjoy this utterly classic brew. And I believe Oktoberfest comes from, I know it was in Munich. It was sometime back in the, I'm not sure. It was Munich. It was sometime back in the early 1800s, I believe. There was a prince, and he got married, and it was in October, and so they had this big festival to celebrate the wedding and everything. And obviously, Germany, being the beer brewing nation that it is, everybody started brewing all these beers, and out of that, kind of this traditional style, the Marzen, as it's traditionally pronounced, was born. So let's go ahead and get an appearance on this. It is a nice light amber, kind of a deep gold, slight reddish hints around the edges there. A lot of carbonation streaming up, as you can see. A ton of carbonation. There is a nice, I'd say, two finger head. It is kind of frothy, but tiny bubbles, which gives, looks a little creamy. And it seems to have nice retention, though. It white, but, maybe slightest bit beige. Looks pretty good, though, so let's go on ahead and get a nose on this. Sorry. Let's get a nose on this. Smells, pretty traditional of a Marzen. Nice, sweet, caramel, toffee malts. I'm picking up the hops a little bit, floral. Picking up a little bit of a fruitiness there. Light fruit, like maybe apples or something. Maybe a little bit of a zing, like, I don't know, citrus or something. Kind of citrusy, but mainly I'm smelling mellow fruit like apple or pear or something. Nice, sweet smelling. Again, the malts, caramel, maybe a hint of toffee. Definitely some pale malt there. Just nice roasted, very lightly roasted barley. It smells pretty good. So let's go ahead and jump into this one. That's a pretty damn good Marzen. That is not bad. Sweet on the front. It's sweet, Those malts, it's very powerful. If you've never had this style of beer, if you've never had an Oktoberfest, it is it's a pretty malty beer. The malts here, they're mild, yet they're still even though they are mild, even though they are subtle, they're still very, very strong in flavor. They're very flavorful, and they definitely characterize this beer. You get pale malt, you get toffee, you get caramel, you get just a sweet robustness, the slightest, tiniest bit of roastiness. It's got a nice floral esters. I can definitely taste the hops. It's not really bitter at all, but nice and floral, slightly fruity. I'm picking up slight spice notes. It almost tastes like ginger, or like maybe like a white pepper or something in the background. It's very well balanced. It's a great mouthfeel. It's light. It's not overly carbonated on the mouthfeel. Excuse me. This is a pretty enjoyable beer, and it's damn refreshing. This is probably one of the more refreshing beers of fall, I would say. You compare this to like a pumpkin ale, which I think of as more a dessert beer, and this is more of a sessionable. This is more of your, the sessionable beer, and it's 5.8%, so it's relatively sessionable. Wouldn't recommend it for cellaring, but you could, have quite a few of these over the course of an evening and still maintain a clear head. This is a pretty good beer. I like it. It's not the greatest Malzen I've ever had. It's not the greatest Oktoberfest I've ever had. But it's pretty good. I mean, it's not an actual authentic German Oktoberfest. Shiner, it's out of Shiner, Texas. This is an American version, but the Spoetzl brewery, they hold true to their German roots, and I think this is a pretty good beer. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 7 out of 10. That's a C for me. That's passing. 7 means I'm gonna recommend it. If you see it, pick it up, try it. Pick it up before fall ends. It's a good beer. I like it. And I think you'll like it too. So, if you see it, definitely pick it up. Definitely give it a shot. It's a pretty good beer. So, thank you for watching, and keep watching again in the future for more reviews. Prost.